Don't call her cute, don't call her feisty. She's a rebel, she is nasty, she is brave. She isn't honey, sweetie, sugar pie, baby. And don't you ever say that she was well behaved. Don't you ever say that she was well behaved. And don't you ever say that she was well behaved.
Oh, wow. Who's going first?
You go first.
I'm going first. Okay, well, we have to banter. We just had like a whole banter that we can't put on here.
Because we were talking shit about people.
Really just one person.
Right?
Yeah.
You know Single personally?
Louis, we're recording now.
We got to stop talking about him.
I'll talk to you after. And yes, we do, but that was the other person who we were making fun of.
Can you still hear me? I turned myself a little down, but let me turn myself back up.
Turn yourself back up a little, yeah. That sounds good, I think.
All right, cool.
All right.
I cannot see you, so if you're naked, be naked.
I know, maybe you should have been facing this way so that in case you like accidentally
I'll take my glasses off.
You don't have to.
So even if I do see you, I don't know how big it is.
It'll be like censored.
I'll put my new side bangs over my one eye.
Oh my God, I know. I love it.
Oh my God.
Where'd you go? Just to like the place in Astoria?
To the place right next door to me. Crush.
Did you like even look at the Yelp reviews, or you were like, fuck it?
No, it's just one guy who works there.
A guy?
It's a straight man from the Bronx who cut my hair.
It's not a barber shop?
Yeah. Because it's I know, and I had a lot of questions, but it's always women in there, and I see him every morning because he takes a smoke break as I walk my dog, and we always say hi, and Bamford always likes him. My dog Bamford, she always goes over.
Likes him, then.
She's got a good vibe from him, and I have been thinking about getting my hair cut for like 7 months.
When's the last time you got your hair cut?
2 years ago.
Wow.
And it was time.
Which is like when you moved in with Shaki, right?
It was before I moved in with Shaki, yes.
Right. So you haven't in your new home.
Yeah, not since I moved to Queens.
Wow.
And it was time. I just get so much anxiety over cutting my hair.
I know. I got a haircut too, and it's not great. It is up right now.
Yeah, I can't see it.
Yeah, here, I'll take it down, but
you should go to Chris.
Maybe I should. Well, what I did was I went to the thing that Liz posted about in the beauty group, which was the Arojo school, which is like a super fancy salon. Like the haircuts there are like $200 minimum, but they have a school. It's gonna look shitty now because it was up. It's gonna be even more shitty than it was. But it's a little shorter, and the thing is, it had to be shorter because my hair was very dead. But now it is shorter.
It's a little
and like
bobby.
Layered. Yeah. I think if I straighten it, maybe it'll be better. But anyway, now I need to put my hair back up. So wait, continue with the story.
Okay. Well, so I kept thinking like I should just go in there. And they're on my block. There are 2 different hair salons. I don't have to cross the street to go. And I was like, I have no excuse. And so 2 nights ago, I was walking with Bamford, and I could see him in there alone, dicking around on his phone. And so I just brought Bamford in there, and I was like, hey, what do you have tomorrow? Will you cut my hair? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, I have a lot of anxiety about getting my hair cut. And he was like, you're not the only one. I'm not going to fuck it up. And I was like, yeah, you can't. You have to see me every day. So I'm going to trust you because I trust, one, that you don't want to see somebody who you've done wrong.
Yeah.
But also you don't want to see your work be bad.
Yeah.
So I just trust that you have a lot of pride.
That's cool. He did a good job.
He was great. He talked to me the whole time about what he was doing. He really put me at ease. Aww. He checked in with me. He was like, is this okay? Do you want this? Da, da, da. Also having that picture helped a lot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Julie, for Julie, because I posted in the beauty group, I'm thinking of doing bangs. Is this a huge mistake? Am I just depressed?
And it was a 40+ comment
God,
thread.
People have
a
many
lot of
opinions.
Strong anxiety about bangs. And I think you knew not to. You can't.
No. I would never do straight across bangs. I can't do what you have.
Yeah,
they look so good on you,
but it's very.
It's
specific.
Not for me. It's not.
No,
and
but
I knew
a
that.
Side bang, I feel like anyone can pull off a side bang. To be honest, it's nice, and it's just like a flowy. It's like a layer. It's nice.
It was more of what. like, are we doing a swoop? Are we doing like, you know, just halfway? And then are we doing a harsh side bang? Are we like, I just didn't know what to do. And there were so many people who were like, don't do it. And the whole time Julie's texting me like, don't listen to those people.
No.
Like they're wrong.
And you did a pretty beginner bang.
It's subtle.
It's like, it's almost a layer. Really.
Yeah.
It's great though. It looks really good. And that cut was really nice.
It was and it was only $60.
That's great.
He's great. Really Chris at Crush.
There you go.
I recommend it. If you're ever just traveling through Astoria
and need a haircut,
go to Chris. Don't come next door to my house. I don't want to see you. But go to Chris.
That's great. Yeah. Oh, that's actually really, you just like pinpointed your location.
Yeah, I did. You don't know which side I live on.
Okay.
Maybe we can cut out. Who cares? You want to find me? You don't know which floor I live on.
That's true.
We've probably talked about that.
It's a huge building.
It's a luxury 70 floor building.
Condo.
I'm ruining the neighborhood.
It's a spaceship.
How was Palm Springs?
Oh my gosh,
I missed you so much.
Nice. It was so good. Yeah, so we went to LA and we just spent like 4 or 5 days at Louis' parents' house. And Louis was like editing his album the whole time, and I like made that video and posted it. So the, you know, Santa Claus is coming, I'm not video. And so
how was the feedback?
I mean, pretty light, if we're being honest. I mean,
your parents didn't say anything though?
No, I was hoping that they did not watch it.
Great.
But Louis' parents liked it. and
they were like, our son isn't Santa, is he?
His dad made that joke.
Did he?
His dad was like, is that inspired by Louis?
Well, I am getting ready to be a Jewish father. So.
True.
I'm in training.
True. That's great. Yeah. So the first 4 days we were kind of like sort of by choice cooped up. Like we went out and we like ate and stuff, but we didn't like do a ton. And then on Friday we went to Palm Springs. We went to Louis' grandpa's and had lunch on the way, and then went to Palm Springs, and it was so nice. We stayed, my first time there, we stayed at the Ace Hotel, very, very fancy. In the rooms at the Ace Hotel in Palm Springs, they have walking sticks hung up on the wall that you can take with you and purchase, which is just truly a small log. You can use it for the duration of your stay, but if it's gone from the room, you know, when you check out.
Like a robe.
Like a robe, which they also have robes, and like a harsh blanket, and just like a lot of weird, and also like art. There's like hanging prints that you can also take with you and like pay for. Yeah, like a print, like a piece of art, like a poster.
Got it. Did they have like a rotary phone where you have to trim your nails to use?
Yeah. No, they did not. But some of the rooms get record players at the Ace, but ours did not have one.
Do those rooms also come with records that you can play?
They come with records, which you can also take with you and for purchase.
Can you just buy the hotel? How much is that?
Like it, yeah. A lot. But anyway, the walking sticks were really funny. And they're like, it was just, the whole thing was very, very goofy.
Did you use them?
Well, Louis, we did a live version of Talk Show, the game show, Saturday night, and like Louis was a guest, and I was too. But Louis came in with like this weird tunic robe that they gave you, and like the walking stick, and like
really Mosesing it up on Christmas.
And he made, during the stand-up show, he made like a butt plug joke about the walking stick, which was a real hit.
Okay.
But no, it's very goofy. But then the cool thing, so it was like a bunch of comics. We did a stand-up show Friday night and Talk Show the Game Show Saturday night at the hotel, and we got like free food and drinks. They just gave us like $250 in like cards, and we just ate and drank for free the whole weekend. And yeah, we just hung out by the pool. I got my tarot cards read by Lizzie Cooperman, who's very nice and funny. I didn't know her. She was the person I probably knew the least going in. It was Lizzie, Chase Bernstein, and then her boyfriend Donnie. I don't remember Donnie's last name. He's also a comedian. They're both very funny. Solomon Giorgio, Guy Branum, and then us. And it was really fun. The shows were great, and I won Talk Show the Game Show.
Yeah, nice. Exciting. What was your game? Did they make a game for you?
Oh no, so we don't. So in the live show, they don't do bonus games. It was just it's just the panel, and then everyone goes to the lightning round.
Okay.
So it's like 3 buzzers when they do the live show. Yeah, but I won $40. Very exciting.
Nice. Wow, you had a real Christmas weekend.
Oh yeah, and then we came home. We flew back on Christmas Day, which is crazy because we had to drive from Palm Springs to Louis' parents, drop the car off, and then drive to the airport, and then take the flight back. And so it was like Christmas Day, and I missed Christmas for the first time, you know. But then we got home, and outside of our front door was just like a huge pile of packages, which were like pretty much all screeners.
Oh, nice.
So we got like all, it was like Santa Claus came, but it was actually just the Writers Guild. So that was pretty dope. We've watched a lot of movies lately, which is good. Yeah, so it was nice. And then this week I've just like, you know, had a whole list of things I thought I was going to do and then did none of them.
Yeah.
But, you know, whatever. I think I'm going to go see Louis with Attell tonight at Caroline's, if you want to come.
I can't go like this though.
Yeah. Well, you could borrow something.
Okay, I might.
Yeah.
Might do that.
Well, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I do want to watch the rest of the Black Mirror episode I was watching, but maybe we could watch it from the beginning. We'll talk about it. I think I was only like, actually, you could watch it from to where I am. Oh no, you need to watch it with Shaki. I can't
watch it without Shaki.
Oh, fuck.
I know, it's so obnoxious.
No, but it's like I understand it and I appreciate it because Louis will watch nothing with me, so like I appreciate that aspect of a relationship that I'll never have.
We have a lot of things now that we watch together
that you have to watch together.
Yeah, which is annoying, but
yeah, I get it.
I think there are some things that like we generally watch together, but if one of us watched an episode without, it's like okay, I get like Top Chef. There are so many.
Yeah,
but it's like if we miss one together,
it's not really.
Fine.
Yeah, I mean Black Mirror is kind of like that. They're all individual, but I know I get it. It's too much.
Also, Top Chef, they're not all individual. What are you talking about?
You're right. Oh, I'm thinking of like Chopped. Never mind. No. Top Chef is a reality.
No, I like to get to know all of the contestants and like really hate some of them.
Got it. Is there a new Top Chef right now?
No, we're watching old ones. We're on season 6.
That's good.
And I've gotten really into, I think I've mentioned this before, but going back and watching
reality shows,
watching early seasons of reality shows.
Wait, did I say you should watch Jersey Shore?
Yeah, but we discussed because I like competition.
Oh, right.
Because otherwise the drama just doesn't seem worth it to me. It's like, why? Who cares? There are no stakes here.
There's so many stakes, but
there are none. Oh my God. And the stakes in Jersey Shore, it's just like
their dignity.
Who's going to the beach today?
It's like, it's like Sam and Ronnie.
It's like who can wear the most makeup.
Oh my God, it's so good. I love it so much.
I can't stand that accent.
Oh my God, it like brings me comfort.
Yeah, well, we're where I'm very, very. What's the Florida version one?
Floribama Shore.
Floribama Shore. I might check that out.
Yeah, I'll probably watch that. I think it might be out already.
Yeah, it is.
Oh, I gotta check it out. I know MTV is tough because it's like I'm never like actively, not like I'm downloading the MTV app, you know? But I should check it out. I will like it. I'm sure I will like it. You will. Yeah.
No, I'm really into Amazing Race and Top Chef.
Yeah.
That's what I've been just going through them.
That's great. That's so fun.
Shaki and I on Christmas, we stayed in bed until 5 o'clock watching Top Chef and napping.
Did you order in?
What'd you eat? No, we ended up, I don't remember what we ate for breakfast. I think we were both kind of hungover. Because Christmas Eve, we had that 7 fishes dinner, which, correction, on the last episode, I said it was Greek. It is not Greek. It's Italian.
Oh.
We went to that with a few friends and then went to one of our friends' house, and he made us cocktails because he's like really into bartending, but I don't think he gets to do it very often for people. Yeah. So he was just like so excited to peel an orange for us and put it on our drink. That's awesome. We did that. And I think because my stomach had been bothering me.
Oh my God. Yeah, we didn't even talk about this. I totally forgot. What happened to you?
Okay, so we recorded the podcast last week. I was totally fine.
And I was like kind of sick. And so I was like, I was like, how did I not get it? We were in a room together. But I think it was because I was kind of had a cold and I was like, oh, we shouldn't hug. But like, thank God.
And I was totally fine on Sunday.
Yeah.
And then Monday, the next day, I woke up and I was like, I feel like a little off. Like, just like, and I kept, this is a lot of information, but like,
okay, fast forward if you don't like gross stuff.
Yeah, fast forward, like, I mean, honestly, I'm going to talk about it for a while, but just, whatever. So I kept like having like emergency shits.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, I got to go to work.
They were like diarrheas.
Yeah. Diarrhea, like total
like
liquid,
water.
Like brown water coming out.
You were pooping pee. I get it.
It was so much. And that just like kept happening.
That's not
like
good.
Over and over and over again. And I'm walking these dogs and I was like, and like weird burps, where you're just like,
wait, were you able to time it with the dogs so you could just do it in the people's houses?
Sort of.
Which is also like Yo.
Oh yeah, I destroyed bathrooms. I felt so bad because I was also getting my Christmas bonuses that week, and I was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry."
You a Christmas bonus.
Here is my gift to you.
Oh no. You should have got a pack of matches to like carry around with you.
Yeah, it was bad, and it was just like,
no.
I mean, there were.
But I'm surprised you didn't shit your pants.
I'm shocked I didn't shit my pants. And my boss had texted me that day because she was like, "Hey, I just want to make sure like you're not going anywhere for Christmas because we have a lot of people out." And I was like, "I am not. However, I need to let you know that I am like emergency going to the bathroom, and every moment is a gamble. And I don't know if it's going to get better."
Yeah.
And she's like, "Oh, do you think it's a UTI?" And I was like, "Oh, bless your heart." I was like, I know what to do with a UTI.
Also,
like,
the fact that when you said, as if you wouldn't have just said pee.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
if someone says going to the bathroom, they mean shitting.
Yes, absolutely.
Like, if you'd be like, "Oh, I keep having to pee." Like that's what you would have said.
Right. Yeah.
No. And were you like, "Nope, other hole"?
Yeah. I was like, "It is coming out the other end." And she was like, whatever. I should have just been very explicit, which I will next time.
No, I mean, like, she should have picked up on what you were trying to say.
Yeah, but I was like, heads up, if it's not getting better,
like, I have to
I'm gonna.
home.
I was like, I can make it through today. I can, because like I don't have as many dogs, and I'm not gonna like put you in that position to have to scramble to find somebody. But just know I am shortening all of my walks.
Yeah,
and just keep a heads up.
Yeah,
and then I made it through the day. And then I got on the subway and I was like, oh boy, like I better get a seat. So I like sat down and I was just like, just make it off the subway. And I got off the subway. And as soon as I was walking down the street, cause it's like a 10-minute walk from the subway to my apartment, right next to Crush. And I felt like the salivating and I was like, oh, I'm not going to make it home. And I just pulled over to the side of the road because there's like all these people walking. And I was like, don't go too close to the food trucks. So there are all these food trucks on the corner. And I just like puked a little bit.
Oh,
and I was like, okay, like just make it home. And I got home and then I just like couldn't stop throwing up for 2 days.
Oh my God, jealous.
And I texted my boss and I was like, yeah, I can't.
I have a flu.
And then it was just a week of like,
I mean,
shitting and being sleepy. I think it was a stomach flu.
Yeah.
But I didn't have
Where though? Where could that have come from?
It was going around.
It was?
Yeah. I heard a lot of people talk about it. And then the other day I was on the subway and I heard I overheard somebody talk about how
these mics like have it on them.
I don't think so. I mean, they've been in my bag for a week, like quarantined. I don't know how long the flu can live, but
oh my God.
I've like heard a lot of people talking about having it too.
Damn.
It was bad.
So it was like a week, huh?
It was a week of like not being like just 2 days of puking. Mm-hmm. And then, a week of like not taking a regular shit. Jesus. And not really being able to eat normally. And so the 7 fishes dinner was my first night really like eating normal again.
That's so funny.
So I made it to 5 fishes and then I was like, I'm going to stop.
Yeah, you should stop. That's 7 fishes is not really what you should have on like a loose stomach.
Yeah. And like one of our friends who we were eating with was like, come on. Like, and I was like, no. This is for everybody. I'm stopping right now. God. But so the next morning the next day we took it easy and stayed in bed until 5. And then we went to Flushing and had Chinese food. Yum. And then we went to Diker Heights to see the Christmas lights.
That's fun.
It was really fun. It's so ridiculous.
Yeah, the people there are nuts.
It's insane.
I've actually never been. I've only just seen like pictures and stuff.
If you don't live in New York, look up Diker Heights Christmas. Yeah, it's insane.
They have crazy lights.
And it's also fun. Like mafioso families.
In that neighborhood, you're like required to do it.
I think some people it looked like were actively not participating.
Yeah. I mean, if you don't, it's a choice.
Yeah. And there were a lot of signs that people had on their houses of like, don't sit on our steps kind of shit. Because I think some people get very angry.
I'm sure. The Jews.
There can't be that many Jews in that neighborhood though.
I mean, Hasidics.
In Diker Heights?
They're everywhere. The diaspora, bitch.
But those houses are so stupid.
They're big?
Yeah, but they're like kitschy because we looked up, it's like a lot of like there are some capos who like mob family stuff where their houses are just so stupid and there's like marble on the outside. It's like, why do you have a fountain running in January?
Oh no, it's
December
freezing today. Sorry. Man, I thought I just went along with the fact that it was January. I'm like not even. I was like, yeah, it's January.
It's so cold. It feels like January.
So this winter is gonna be bad.
It's gonna be real bad
because it's already snowed like 3 times.
Oh boy. I hope we have a blizzard though. I like when we have blizzards
because everything shuts down and you can stay at home without feeling guilty.
Yep, that's exactly why. And then I have to dig out my car, but at least that's exercise, you know.
Yeah, that's great. That's really good. Well, should we jump right in?
Let's do our podcast.
Okay. Oh, by the way, I'm Molly Ruben-Long.
I'm Ariel Elias.
And this is Well Behaved,
a podcast about women who have been forgotten to time.
Yes, who you don't know. If you say you know them,
you're lying.
Don't be that person.
You don't know them.
Louis said he knows this one.
He doesn't know her like we know her now. Like we're about to know her.
Know, now you know. Okay, my person is Bessie Stringfield. Bessie was born by the name Betsy Leonora Ellis, February 9th, 1911 in Kingston, Jamaica.
That's so close to my last name.
Yeah. Elias.
Maybe we have the same great grandfather. Everybody's Jewish.
That's true.
At some point. Just like we're all from monkeys. Africa. Oh, those two things shouldn't have been said at the same time.
What? Oh, sorry. No, I mean everyone's Jewish and everyone was a monkey. Everyone was a Jewish monkey is what I'm saying.
Yes. We all come from Abraham. That's what I'm saying. From Adam.
Abraham the ape. All right, I'm really leaning into this.
Abraham.
There it is.
Worth it.
Okay, so she was the daughter of Maria Ellis, who was a domestic servant, and a guy named James Ferguson, who was Maria's employer. Ugh. It's all very unclear, her early life. Like, she doesn't say a lot. What we do know is that she migrated to Boston, Massachusetts when she was really little, and one source I read said that both of her parents died of smallpox when she was 5, and another one said that her mom died of smallpox and then her dad just gave her up for adoption. So either way, she's orphaned at the age of 5, and she's adopted by a wealthy Irish Catholic family in Boston. Oh. So she was like a Jamaican girl being raised by Irish Catholics in Boston, which is like what year? Boston again. That would have been, she was born in 1911, so that would have been 1916.
Great.
She like becomes interested in motorcycles because her neighbor has a motorcycle, and she's like always wants one, and like tries to talk about it with her Irish parents, and her parents are like no. But then at the age of 16, her mom gives her a motorcycle for her birthday.
Whoa.
An Indian Scout. She had never ridden one before, but she was like a natural, so she got it really quickly. And because she was such a devout Catholic, she said that like Jesus taught her how to ride a motorcycle in a dream. She was like always talking about the man upstairs, like Jesus really took not the wheel but the handlebars. I don't know. There you go. Jesus take the handlebars. Not as catchy. So yeah, she had never ridden one before. She was really great.
That's the difference between an Irish Catholic family and a Jewish family. When she turned 16, they were like, Jesus will take care of you. Here's a motorcycle. And my mom would be like, not until after I die.
Yeah, no, my mom would never let me. And I never want to, because do you want to ride a motorcycle?
I would like to ride one. I would like to
You don't want to drive
it.
one? You want to like be...
I mean, I've driven, I guess it wasn't like a full motorcycle.
It's like a scooter?
Yeah, it was like a step above a moped. Like a step above, like somewhere in between. Yeah, like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I would drive a motorcycle.
That?
When I studied abroad in Cuba.
I remember now.
Wait,
I'm sorry. Wow.
When I talked about this studied abroad, it just like really changed me.
Wow.
I think I really grew as a person.
Wow.
As a persona.
And as a communist.
Yeah, now I'm really about redistributing the wealth.
Yeah.
But I would ride a motorcycle. I would drive. I wouldn't buy one.
But if you had the opportunity.
Yes.
God, I don't know that I would. I've never ridden on a scooter or a Vespa or anything like that before. Two wheels are tricky to me. I mean, I learned to ride a bike when I was 19.
Right.
Two wheels really spook me. I gotta say, it doesn't feel right. Doesn't make sense, but
it doesn't. You're right. It's so counterintuitive.
It's really, honestly, learning to ride a bike when you're like almost an adult. I guess at 19 you're an adult.
Yeah.
It really doesn't make, because you very much feel like, wait, I'm going to take my feet off and I'm going to move.
And like, the faster I go, the easier it is.
Doesn't make
I don't
any
think so.
I'm just going to put my feet on these little plastic squares and then I'm not going to fall over. Like, no, it doesn't make any sense. So anyway, but she was not a huge pussy like me. Bessie was very cool and she rode a motorcycle right away. So about 3 years later, she's 19 years old when I learned to ride a bike. When
I stayed abroad in Cuba.
Very good, very good. And this is during the 30s and 40s. She decides to ride her motorcycle across the country. Now, this is decades before the highway system was put together. Her first ride, she ends up making 8 long distance solo rides across the U.S. Her first one was in 1930, making her the first African American woman to ride her motorcycle across the country solo, which really broke barriers for both women and African American riders of motorcycles. There's one story that says she just threw a penny on a map of the United States and rode like wherever the penny went. And so eventually she made it through all 48 states, plus trips to Brazil, Haiti, and parts of Europe. There was in the Rejected Princesses like story about her, they reference this thing called the Negro Motorist's Green Book, which I thought was really interesting. And there's not like necessarily proof that she used it, but chances are probably good that she did, which was just this guidebook for African American motorists, you know, in cars or motorcycles or whatever, traveling around America during Jim Crow. And so it's like a guide of like places that would serve them. So I just thought that was a cool little history fact.
Oh, there it is.
Ooh,
that's why we're in this genre.
Interesting. Very interesting. I know. Yeah. Okay. Whatever. But so she, because she was African American, she was very often denied accommodations while she was traveling solo. So she ended up very often sleeping on her motorcycle at gas stations.
Oh, jeez.
Which is so wild. She was also sometimes denied mechanical help, so she really did a lot of the mechanics herself. She was very trained in how to do that. So she would perform motorcycle stunts at carnival shows for money along the way. And some of the stunts included being able to stand up in the saddle while riding, riding on these it was called like Hell Wall or something, and it was like it was like a circle of a wall where she would like ride along the wall, basically like sideways. She did all these crazy stunts for money. She was very good at them. And then during World War II, she ended up working as a civilian motorcycle dispatcher for the U.S. Army, which just meant that she would carry messages between domestic bases on her bike. And also note that at this point, 2 years after she gets the Indian Scout for her birthday, or 2 or 3 years, she ends up buying a Harley Davidson, and she only rides Harley Davidsons for the rest of her life. She ends up owning 27 Harley Davidsons throughout her life. And she said something, there was some quote, I'm don't know if it's the exact thing, but basically she was like, I believe Harley Davidsons are the only kind of motorcycle or something.
She's like, that's the only man I ride.
Oh no, she's married 6 times, but
hell yeah.
I'll get into that later.
You know what's so interesting though is like her name is Bessie Springfield. Bessie Coleman was like, I'm just gonna do stunts on airplanes. Like,
oh yeah,
there's something
Bessie.
There's something about like being black and named
Weird.
Bessie where you're just like, I'm gonna do stunts on a vehicle.
Around the same time, probably.
Yeah.
How
crazy.
Weird. I wonder if they knew each other.
Or had like heard about each other.
I mean, they were both like pretty famous, I think.
Yeah, I bet they heard about each other.
That's so weird. Oh my God, that's cool. Bessie and Bessie.
It's so crazy that she's
the next Julie and Julia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Sleeping at the gas stations. It's so scary.
Have you ever
intense
slept like in a place?
Car. I know you and Polk slept in a Walmart parking lot once, right?
Yeah.
No, I've never do that. I am so fucking bougie.
Miserable.
I would call my mom and be like, Mom, I need a hotel. I'm a huge piece of shit.
I
would never sleep in a Walmart parking lot.
It wasn't so bad because like Walmart is built for you. Like they let you sleep in their parking lot.
They keep the lights on, right?
They keep the lights on and they have security who like patrol the parking lot, who like drive by every once in a while. But one time I guess it was last year when I was driving home for Passover. There was I like to drive at night. I like to leave at night and drive through the night because there's less traffic and get there in the morning. And when I was driving through West Virginia, I got hit by a snowstorm. And also those roads are terrifying. So I pulled into a park, and it was like 4:00 in the morning. So it's like, I'm just going to pull into this gas station and I'm going to sleep until the sun comes up because then it won't be as scary. And like sleeping in that gas station was terrifying. Yeah. Just because like,
you don't know what's
you
gonna
just
happen.
don't know who's walking by you, and like,
I mean, I guess it's nice that it's a blizzard. Hopefully no one's walking in a blizzard looking for trouble.
I mean, I went inside and I was like, hey, here's the deal, like to like tell the guy.
Oh,
like,
there was an attendant there?
There was like inside the little store.
Yeah. Oh, I thought it might have been closed.
No, it was open. It was like one of, I chose like a bigger one, which also meant that there were more people coming by. But I was like, hey, just so you know, like I'm going to take a nap in my car. But just to be like, if you see somebody like snooping around my car, but then I was like, but he could fucking do something.
Yeah.
It's so scary. That's crazy that she did that.
Oh my God.
As a Jewish mother.
I don't like that you did that.
I don't either. But it was safer than driving in the snow at night.
You should have just shelled out like $30. You don't think your mom would have
What would I have done for $30?
Or $50 for a hotel? I guess
I don't think there was anything around. It's in West Virginia. Like there, like I would have had to
motels on the side of the road.
I would have had to drive another like several miles before I hit something. Like there was nothing around.
Okay. That's fair. Ugh, that makes me nervous. Anyway, so so she's part of this civilian motorcycle dispatch group. What's it called? It's called a unit. Oh. She's in a unit. She's the only woman, but it's an all-black unit. So it's her and a bunch of African-American guys, and they're all like on motorcycles bringing messages back and forth to different domestic camps. And it was a very rigorous training process. One of the skills she learned, though she never had to implement in real life, was how to make makeshift bridges out of rope and tree limbs to cross swamps. Oh, jeez. But she never had to use it. That's crazy. That's still a cool skill. And she obviously faced like a ton of, adversity. There's one story that she tells of a man in a truck who ran her off the road into a ditch. But she is okay. She was married and divorced 6 times, like I said, which is the same number as Hedy Lamarr from 2 weeks ago. And all the men were 22 to 24 years younger. Yeah. When she was interviewed at age 70, she said, quote, "I wouldn't have a man over 35 even now." So all right, Bessie. She's a hoot. Anyway, this is very sad. Sorry, that was a light note. Now a sad note. She, with her first husband, they lost 3 kids. It was unclear what that meant, but there's one source that said she lost 2 in childbirth and then 1 at the age of 4, which is awful, but there's no real details. But because she lost 3 kids with her first marriage, she just never tried for more. Yeah. Is that why she wanted to date men who were so much younger than her? Just to sort of like... Maybe because she never had to. Yeah, maybe. Just to take care of somebody. Yeah. And also because they would probably be less interested in... Or maybe not, I guess. No, an older guy would... I don't know. Yeah, no, maybe it is just to take care of someone. That could be why. Anyway, but her third husband was named Arthur Stringfield. Oh, wait. Stringfield or Springfield? It's Stringfield, and I'm an idiot. Is it Stringfield? I'm pretty sure it's Stringfield. I'm going to check right now. But he asked her to keep, I wrote Springfield at the top of my paper, but I think it is Stringfield. All right. That's okay. It's Stringfield. Like, while you're starting up, I submitted a packet once and spelled the name of the person whose show it was wrong throughout the whole thing. No. Yep. Wait, who was it? We're pausing. You caught it. Well, that was a hot take. Sorry, guys. Yeah. It is Stringfield. I'm an asshole. But anyway, her third husband, Arthur Stringfield, asked her to keep his name when they got divorced because she'd, quote, made it famous. So he was like, please keep my name. And she was like, all right. By the early 1950s, she stopped riding around the U.S., she bought a house in Miami and became a nurse. Ooh. When she got to Miami, the Miami
Being
police.
a nurse was her backup. That's crazy.
I know. It's like, fuck you. Oh my God. She refused to give, the Miami PD refused to give her a motorcycle license. And so the cop, like, she was like, no, I am the best. and he was like, all right, fine. Then you have to do this very hard bunch of tricks.
Also, like,
and then she obviously did them. And
yeah,
passed.
of course. But what's the logic I mean, I realize I'm trying to find logic in racism, but like,
and sexism.
But like, you're not good enough to have a license. Why don't you do this really hard thing that if you're not skilled enough will kill you? Like,
well, because then it really gets rid of the problem, I guess.
Jesus.
Anyway, but so she had to do all these like stunts or whatever, and she obviously did them. Yeah. And he was like, all right, fine.
She's like, with my eyes closed backwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you want me to put on heels? I'll do it.
She probably could have. So she's like,
my motorcycle runs on period blood. What?
That's cool as hell. Honestly, I think motorcycle culture is like really tacky and weird, but I like Bessie Stringfield a lot. She decides to ride like locally in Miami, and she found a motorcycle club called the Iron Horse Motorcycle Club, which is just apparently was just like at first just at her house, and then there's some story about how like some real motorcycle gang came up to her and was like, why didn't you invite us? And she was like, because I don't want trouble or something. I don't know. She had some confrontation with a motorcycle gang, apparently. I don't know. There's also a story of how she like entered this motorcycle race disguised as a man and then won, but was denied the money when she took her helmet off. And it was clear that she was a woman.
Those are also my favorite. I love when they disguise
themselves
takes the helmet off, and then she takes her helmet off, and you're like, oh my God, it was
Joan of Arc.
It was a woman the whole time.
A real As You Like It.
Did you ever see the Disney Channel original movie Motocrossed?
No, I was just referencing Shakespeare. So I'm sorry.
Wow.
No, I think I did, but I don't.
Coastal elitist.
That's true though. No, I think I did. I mean, I'm sure I did. I watched all the Disney movies, but I don't remember it.
It's twins, fraternal twins, boy and girl. And he's a motocross racer, and he gets injured, and she takes his place.
Wow.
And goes undercover.
Wow. Disney movies,
Andy.
Let's just talk about them for a second. They were gorgeous.
And they had a new one every month.
And they were all equally dumb and satisfying.
So dumb.
God bless them.
That one where she talked to horses... Do you remember that one?
No, I'm
thinking
of the alien one. Xenon? No.
That wasn't Alien, but it was space.
Space. Space. It's all the same in my brain.
Yes, it is Xenon.
That was a good one.
But they made 3 of them, which was a mistake.
Yeah, probably. Was the first one
not
a
mistake? My heart is jumping.
Oh my God! How do you have this kind of recall?
The heart is jumping.
Wow, guys! Turns out. You got a little bonus
You're
there.
You're my supernova girl.
Yeah, supernova girl. Hell yeah. Dude, all I want is to be someone's supernova girl.
You're my supernova girl.
Thanks. All right. Let's finish this sucker up here. So yeah, she opens this thing. She wins the race. She... because of all of her stunts and stuff while in Miami, she attracted a lot of press, and the press originally gave her the name Negro Motorcycle Queen, but then ended up calling her Motorcycle Queen of Miami, which both sound like, honestly, they both sound like pretty badass names. But yeah, the Motorcycle Queen of Miami is pretty tight. She had 2 pet dogs. One source said they were poodles, who would sometimes ride with her, who she loved very much. And in 1990. And then it said her only accident was at the age of 65 in 1975. So that was cool. She only had 1 accident in her whole life. Wow. In 1990, the American Motorcycle Association opened the first Motorcycle Heritage Museum and included her in the inaugural exhibit. And then as she aged, she suffered from symptoms of an enlarged heart. Wow. And ended up passing away in Opelika, Florida in 1993 at the age of 82.
Wow. Good long life.
Yeah, very long life. Yeah, I guess like because of her enlarged heart, the doctor said she should stop riding motorcycles, but she was like, nah. But she died at 82. I mean, like, that's pretty good. Anything after 70 is like, all right.
Bonus time.
I feel like it is, right? 75, I guess. So in 2003, the American Motorcycle Association created the Bessie Stringfield Award to honor female leaders in motorcycling. Pretty cool. She has an award named after her. And in 2002, she was inducted into the Motorcycle Hall of Fame. And this is a quote from her. Just says, "I was something. What I did was fun, and I loved it." Bessie Stringfield.
Straight to the point.
So, you know, in the new year, this is coming out on January 1st. Remember to check your typos. And also remember to just do something fun that you love.
Dot your I's in 2018. And turn those P's into T's.
Oh, and my sources were blackpast.org, Rejected Princesses, and goodsparkgarage.com. I also read the American Motorcycle Association's, or the Motorcycle Hall of Fame website, but all had pretty much the same information. So
that's great. Bessie Stringfield.
Bessie Stringfield with a T.
Before I do mine, do you mind if I pee real quick?
No, let's pause.
I had coffee before.
All right, have a little pause.
Coffee at this hour. At 5. Hold on.
Ready?
Okay, we're back.
Back in business.
All right. Now that our bladders are empty and our hearts are full, my woman is Sophie Tucker. So Sophie Tucker was born Sophie Kalish or Kalish. She was born in 1886 in Russia.
Cool.
Which at the time, like most places, was not a great place for the Jews. So she might have been born on December 25th, but later she declared her birthday as January 13th because she, quote, didn't want to share the day with another god. So we're starting off with a bang, Sophie.
That's tight.
Yeah. She's like, I'm a goddess. So the family fled in the middle of winter with newborn Sophie and their other child. They made it to Germany first, and then
their other child.
Yeah.
Sophie and the other one.
Sophie and who cares? And I think her birth name might have been Sonia. But whatever. Yeah, I think she had like an older brother and then later like another younger sibling, but like it doesn't matter.
Cool.
They went to Boston for 7 years until they were like, this sucks. It's as cold and crowded as New York, but with none of the pastrami. And then they settled in Hartford, Connecticut.
That's not that much better.
Yeah, but at least it's not as crowded.
That's true. Crowded, yes, not crowded, yeah.
So the family opened up a kosher restaurant when Sophie was 10 years old. And this is where Sophie started performing. So they like lived on the second floor above, which like I feel like
classic.
All Jews.
That's very classic.
Yeah.
It's business owner.
Yeah. It's like
policy.
What my grandparents did.
Yeah.
Like my grandmother grew up in the deli that her whatever
I
owned.
feel like, yeah, we've had another story where someone had something like that too. I forget who though.
Yeah, I think it happened a lot. So Sophie was like, I can sing. I want to go watch theater. Like this was like a big time for theater and like these traveling troops that would come through. And also like Yiddish theater was really big. But like it's hard because like the Jews like loved this shit, but also they were like, because they came from the shtetl and like they were very, very religious. And so they didn't want like the outside world like tainting them and like corrupting them or whatever. So Sophie's mom insisted that she focus on the restaurant and that she should grow up and have babies and all that shit. So like good Jews, they compromised. Sophie would wait tables, but she was also allowed to sing for the customers. She said, I would stand up in the narrow space by the door and sing with all the drama I could put into it. At the end of the last chorus, between me and the onions, there wasn't a dry eye in the place.
Hot riff.
Yeah, she was very funny. When she graduated high school, Sophie's mom was like, blah, 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 get married, have kids, be a good Jewish woman. And Sophie was like, fuck that. I have an incredible ear. I can memorize songs easily. And her customers were like super encouraging of her. They wanted her to like go try her hand at theater, and they would like throw her some money sometimes for singing. She said, quote, more than anything else in the world, I wanted to be wanted. And I know, but like what a great trait for
Jewish girl.
She was so dramatic, but it's also like a good trait for a performer to be like, I just want to be liked,
right? To be like desperate for attention,
to be real self-conscious and insecure and need people's applause.
So needy.
So she started.
I don't get any of that.
She started going to amateur nights around town and got a decent reception. Unfortunately, mostly singing coon songs, which is as bad as it sounds. It was, if you don't know, like ragtime songs, which like was created by black musicians and was the foundation for jazz, or one of the foundations. They would be changed slightly so that the lyrics would be sung with like a plantation dialect and like black stereotypes, but it would be sung by white people.
Tight.
Yeah.
Sounds really cool.
So not great, but very popular.
Yeah.
And then but it was just like it was she was just doing what was popular, but she's still responsible for her decisions. So were the Nazis. Yeah. So then she elopes with this guy named Louis Tuck, and her parents were super pissed.
Louis or Louis?
It's Luis.
Oh, Louis.
So I think Louis. You got so excited.
Louis.
Yeah. He wasn't.
Yeah, it was,
yeah, he was Jewish, so it's probably Louis.
Never mind.
Her parents were real pissed. Even though he was Jewish, they were just like, how dare you elope? And Sophie was just like, good, like that's what you get for trying to marry me off. Which, not an ideal teenage rebellion, but we can't all get our noses pierced, which is what I did. A year later, Sophie got pregnant. She moves back in with her parents and goes back to work in the restaurant. And she tells Louis, like, hey man, you have to help out more around the house. And he says no. So she's like, okay, that's fine, I'm leaving you. Which was like a huge embarrassment to her parents. They were like, how could you, blah, blah, blah. She leaves her son with her parents and decides to go to New York City. Because she's like, if I'm leaving my if I'm going to go for it, I got to go for it.
Yeah.
She writes a letter to her parents when she first gets to New York that's just like, I'm destined for great things. I'm going to be a star. I can do it if you guys leave me alone and like give me the space. And in return, I will make sure that I make enough money that you can stop working and you don't have to like work so hard. So her parents don't respond. They basically ostracize her. They won't speak her name, which it's so crazy it's like fascinating that was the reaction, because Jews now like love that shit, right? They're like, go for it. Like, I love comedy and so like
there's the stereotype of like the Jewish mother wants you to be a doctor or a lawyer.
Totally. But I think that's like the generation up from me.
Yeah.
Like that's probably what my parents would have gotten from their parents. But when I told my parents I wanted to be a comedian, they were like, great, we'll bring the whole synagogue to your show.
Yeah.
They're just like,
and then you were like, herpes. And they were like, we
got
fucked up. Maybe she'd have been a doctor and not fucked that idiot.
Yeah. They were like, have you thought about coming back to shul?
Oh my God.
The only way my parents would disown me is if I became a Christian.
They would?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
That's.
But I think that's the only thing I could do.
What if you wanted to?
They would disown me.
That's crazy.
If I became a Christian, my mom would probably sit shiva and treat it like a death.
That's really nuts. I'm sorry. That's really nuts.
Yeah. Not if I married one. Just if I
honestly,
became
religion
one.
Is dumb as hell.
It's
so stupid. Yeah. The only thing even if I became a Republican, my parents would be like deeply upset and we would fight all the time. I mean, I never would, but that would maybe be like, they would still like talk to me though. I think there's like, there's nothing I could do that my parents would disown me, which is sort of like something I talk about in therapy, because it's like they are proud of me no matter literally what I do. I mean, I think even if I like really hurt something, like murdered someone or something, they would be like very sad, but they would like always like visit me in prison.
I think mine would too.
Not if you converted, though.
Not if I converted. Not if I found Jesus.
It's so crazy. There's nothing I have that I don't think there's anything I could do that my parents would never speak.
If I murder Jesus, it's fine. If I find Jesus, not okay.
Not okay. That's really nuts. Maybe you should write a bit about that. Is that
maybe?
That's really crazy. Honestly,
I think that's pretty typical for a lot of Jews.
That's so nuts. That's so crazy. You're not hurting anyone. I mean, I don't know.
But you're like hurting the people, you know, like our people. Because it's like, well, this is like
what if you married a non-Jew?
That's different. But I think the idea of converting, it's like, well, this is what all of your ancestors died for. Like, this is why you like lost your home. This is why like these people were murdered.
Yeah.
Is like because they were Jewish. Like they died for you to be Jewish.
Yeah.
So it's like they died for your sins. Like,
right.
You don't get to choose Jesus to die for your sins. Whatever. So Sophie goes to New York. She can't get an agent. Nobody is interested in this like very chubby Jewish girl with no real experience. So she starts singing in restaurants and beer gardens around the city in exchange for meals and tips. She's like not making very much money. She's living in like
drink tickets.
Basically. Yeah. She's like living in this real shitty like hotel. And, you know, it's like New York City in 1915 or whatever. Wow. But she would still send money home. She would send like $3 a week back home. And she starts to get to know the local like accompanists and like the guys who they would get like the newest popular music out first. And this is like before everybody had radios. So this is how you would hear new music, was you would hear performers. And so she just like charmed her way into having them save the best songs for her.
Whoa.
And so then because she has all the popular songs, she starts becoming more in demand. She's making now like $20 to $50 a week, which is like a lot. I looked it up. It's $500 to $1,200 a week in today's money.
Good.
It's like good. So she moves out of her shitty hotel. And then she auditions for, she auditions for Chris Brown's amateur night.
Different Chris Brown,
but still an asshole. Because after she auditioned, Chris said, this one's so big and ugly, the crowd out front will razz her. I want to do the voice. This one's so big and ugly, the crowd out front will razz her. Better get some cork and black her up. So they put her in blackface.
Tight.
Sophie was like, hey, let's not, please don't do that. And the producers were like, do you want the job or not? She's like, well, I want the job. So she started touring and performing in blackface and putting on a Southern accent. She did that for a year and a half, which is a year and a half too long. But they were like, we don't want to offend our audience. Let's put her in blackface.
Oh my God.
And as a fuck you to the company, she started sort of like playfully taking off a glove during her performance to show that she was white.
Right. Which is like they know, right? I mean,
they didn't know. That's what's so crazy to me. Really? Is like, I think it was people who had so little experience with black people.
But it's in the South.
She was touring all over. She just put on a Southern accent.
Oh, okay.
She did say like some of the towns, she was like, I'm glad I went. I never want to go back. But so she would like take off a glove, and then eventually she started doing a big reveal at the end where she would take off her gloves and her wig. And the audience were like, oh my God, she was white the whole time.
Sixth Sense.
Yeah. It's so crazy that we're okay with this.
Oh my God.
But, like, they loved it. And this was sort of like the beginning of her humor in her act. And she did this for a while until somehow like her luggage just happened to be lost at some point, which like most of the sources, I mean, I would suspect that she arranged for that to happen. And there was one source that I read that was like, put it in quotes of losing her luggage. But she was like, oh no, what am I going to do? I guess I just have to go out there. So she went out. The crowd was like shocked. And she said, quote, you all can see I'm a white girl. Well, I'll tell you something more. I'm not Southern. I'm a Jewish girl, and I just learned this Southern accent doing a blackface act for 2 years. And now, Mr. Leader, please play my song. And so like from then on, she never did it again. And she went out in this like super tight dress that she was like busting out of, and like these really high heels, and she kept pretending to fall over. And it was just like, yeah, like she's funny. She doesn't need this other bullshit.
Blackface.
She doesn't need blackface. Nobody needs blackface.
I think is the lesson.
It is so ridiculous. It's so crazy.
Well, I think I know what we're going to do when we present this for that show.
I know.
We're doing a show on January 13th. That's like, it's called like the day of, or history this day, or some shit.
Like this day in history.
This day in history is what it is. And so it's like we pick a topic like from like things that have happened that day or whatever. And we were like, oh, why don't we pick the woman we don't know, Sophie Tucker, and we have to like present her in some way that's not stand up. And now I'm like, I don't quite know how we're gonna do this.
We'll see. She's got a lot of things. I feel like I was like brainstorming of like what we can do about it.
No, I mean, I'm sure we'll think of something that's not both of us in blackface.
Yeah, that didn't cross my brainstorm.
Oh my god.
But so songwriters started writing stuff specifically for her.
Cool.
And Sophie had the business sense to buy the rights to the songs that they were writing for her so that she was the only one who could perform them, which put her in higher demand, especially she would do these one night private gigs for extra cash. And instead of a flat fee for her performances, when she would perform that weren't private, she would ask for door deals because she was like, I can sell out a room. Like people want to come see me. And she would, after performances, she would stay and talk to people who would buy merch. And if they didn't buy merch, she wouldn't talk to them. She was just like, I only want to talk to people who spend money. She would take down their addresses and then send postcards to them, letting them know when she was back in town. So just like the original email list.
Very smart.
Yeah. She was like super charitable. She would help the sex workers who lived in her buildings stash away their money to hide from their pimps. Because she was just like, they all have families who they're supporting. And like, I get that. I also have a family who I'm supporting. Like, we're not different. Because if you're like a vaudeville act or what, like if you're in nightclubs, like, yeah, you're going to meet a lot of sex workers anyway. And those are going to be your friends.
Cool.
So she was described in the Daily Express as, quote, a big fat blonde genius with a dynamic personality and amazing vitality. She got really popular in Europe, which timeline wise is a problem. It was the 1930s.
Wow.
And she wasn't like in your face Jewish, but she had this one song called My Yiddish Mama, which she would only sing if she knew that most of the audience was Jewish. Because one time in France, she almost started a riot when because it was just like a lot of people requesting it. And she was like, I don't know. But there were so many people who were like, sing that song. And it starts in English, but the second verse is in Yiddish. And when she got to the Yiddish verse, they like went crazy and started like shouting at each other.
Oh my God.
But it's the French, man. Like they love to do that shit.
Like to shout.
They also riot over music like all the time. Like that's what the Rite of Spring was.
Yeah.
They just like love to fucking be like, this is new. Bleh.
That was a really good impression.
Thank you so much.
For SNL.
Maybe we should incorporate that into our
I can do a French accent. What do you need me to say?
Oh yeah, you also speak French, right?
No, I do not speak French. No, it is un petit peu.
Oh, that's very good. That sounds so official.
Voulez-vous coucher avec moi ce soir?
I will.
Thank you.
You know what it means. I'll fuck you. Okay. No, I won't. We don't have that relationship. So then Hitler came to power, and the Third Reich or whatever was ordered to smash copies of My Yiddish Mama, which is like how you know you've made it as an artist, sure. I think, when somebody is symbolically destroying your art.
Yeah, I bet Hitler would have loved my stand-up, which is kind of like a bummer.
He was like, kill the Jews except for this one. That's still French, I think.
That was pretty good. That was pretty good German. I can't really do a German accent.
There it is. There you go.
That's really rude to the people I babysit who are German.
Oh, well, do they listen?
They did once
and never came back.
I don't know.
Okay, so but then during World War II, there's this really sweet story about a soldier who wrote to her and like loved her. Like he just like thought she was so funny and wonderful. And he dreamed of like when the Allies took Germany of playing My Yiddish Mama from like a record player.
Yeah.
Or phonograph. Is that what it's called?
I forget. I know what you're talking
whatever.
about.
But he died before they could. But his friends like kept his record, and when they like took control of Berlin, they like blasted her record. Whoa. And they blasted that song to fill the sounds of the streets. Did you listen to the song? Yeah, it's like very Yiddish.
Is it slow or is it like
slow? It's like
a ballad,
haunting, as like all Yiddish songs are.
Yeah,
like there's something about that scale that's like very eerie.
Yeah,
and just sounds like pogroms.
Cool.
But it's not a funny one.
No, it's not like upbeat.
No, she's got some very funny ones. She then started singing with this pianist named Ted Shapiro, and she kept using him like he was her accompanist.
I think you're right. I don't know. You know what
Doesn't matter. They became this sort of like duo act and started using their banter in her act, and it was sort of a little
late night vibe.
Yeah, exactly. A little like Ed McMahon, little Andy Richter to his Conan, to her Conan. She had all these songs about being fat and not wanting to ever get thin. She started calling herself the last of the Red Hot Mamas, and sang about how women crave sex too, which was like very revolutionary. One of her songs was called "I May Be Getting Older Every Day, but Younger Every Night."
That's so funny. What the fuck? What? Okay. Karoo. That bird?
When Prohibition started, this isn't exactly chronological, but when Prohibition started and the mob took over all the nightclubs, Sophie was like, cool, I'll just make friends with the mob. And then she struck up a friendship with Al Capone, and they would play cards all night, which is not a euphemism. They would just play cards all night. And at the same time, J. Edgar Hoover, who was the head of the FBI, loved her. And apparently, I didn't realize this, and I Googled it just to confirm, and it's like, nobody can really officially confirm, but he was gay and a cross-dresser.
J. Edgar Hoover?
Uh-huh. Wow. So he would come to the nightclub.
So of course he loved a fat, brassy Jewish lady.
Exactly. And he would come with his partner.
The original hag.
Yeah, exactly. And according to like one story, he asked her if he could borrow her dresses since they were about the same size. And I think she like made a joke about how he wouldn't be in it, sort of like, you can't fill my shoes kind of thing.
Yeah, he wouldn't be able to pull it off.
Yeah. So she's like playing cards with Al Capone, sharing a wardrobe with J. Edgar Hoover. A lot of presidents loved her. Eleanor Roosevelt was a huge fan. Queen Elizabeth was into it. She became friends with Josephine Baker and performed with her in Miami.
Damn.
She was on the Ed Sullivan Show. She had her own radio show. She started appearing in movies. Like once all the theaters started closing down, she was just like very adaptable. She was like an adopter of all these new technologies, and she wasn't afraid of recording studios the way that a lot of singers were.
Yeah.
So she was able to just like keep going and stay in the public eye.
Perseverer. She reminds me of, I don't know, not like this, but today I was watching Michelle Wolf's HBO special. I feel like Michelle Wolf would be someone who would be like, I'll do whatever. Yeah. You know what I mean? She's such a hustler. She's like that's the kind of thing where you're like, yeah, whatever, I'll just do it. And then she's really good. She's
amazing. I had a dream last night that I saw her at an open mic, and weird. I woke up this morning and I was like, honestly though, like she probably would still go to an open like she doesn't have to or anything, but she seems like the kind of comedian who's just like, I have a new thing to work out.
Yeah, she's a real hustler. She's so good. Have you watched it?
Not yet.
We didn't get all the way through it because we had to go to the gym, but it was good.
Yeah. I love that global warming joke. Is so funny.
The woman. Yeah.
I remember seeing her do it like 6 months ago at Hot Soup, and I was so like, good. Fuck, that's like, she's so funny.
Yeah, she's amazing. Watch it. Michelle Wolf, nice lady on HBO. Anyway, okay. So yeah, she's Sophie.
Sophie's a fucking star, and she was married and divorced 3 times. When asked why, she said like why she couldn't make any of these marriages work. She said no red-blooded man would stand to be a Mr. Tucker. And then she also said, like more seriously, once you start carrying your own suitcase, paying your own bills, running your own show. You've done something to yourself that makes you one of these women men like to call a pal and a good sport, the kind of woman they tell their troubles to. But you've cut yourself off from the orchids and the diamond bracelets, except those you buy yourself.
Damn.
So she was just like getting friend zoned by these men who were threatened by her independence.
Cool.
How dare you?
That sucks.
But she was like super funny. One of her jokes, like later in life, I think this was like her nephew telling this. She always had a pretend boyfriend, Abe, in her jokes. So Abe came to her and said, "Sophie, I'm tired of waiting for you. I'm going to get myself a 30-year-old girlfriend." And Sophie said, "Go ahead. I'm going to get myself a 30-year-old boyfriend. But just remember, 30 goes into 70 a lot more times than 70 goes into 30. So she's like, I'm getting fucked.
Hot riff.
And then she like never stopped performing right up until she died. So like her last like public performance was, and she sang "Give My Regards" to Broadway. And that was, I think, like 3 months before she died. Which but then in like this story about her dying is crazy. In 1966, at the age of 79, she had lung cancer. She's in the hospital. She like feels like it's like she's about to go. So from her hospital bed, she asked the nurse to, quote, "Bring me my chiffon hanky and bring me my wig." So she puts it on. She then performed parts of her act, like just the dialogue from it, and then died.
What?
Which is like, yeah, of course her
literally
last...
till the moment she died.
Of course she didn't stop performing, and like her last words were dialogue from her act.
Whoa.
She was buried in Connecticut. The hearse drivers happened to be on strike at the time and decided to temporarily call off their picket just for her.
Wow.
That's the story of Sophie Tucker.
Wow.
My sources were... apparently everything written about her has to have her name first. Sophie Tucker, last of the Red Hot Mamas. Sophie Tucker, First Lady of Show Business by Armand Fields. This BBC article called Sophie Tucker, Everybody Loves a Fat Girl. And the Jewish Women's Archive.
Cool. That was a good one.
That's Sophie Tucker.
Come to our show on January 13th.
Yeah, and see what we
end
do
up
with
doing
that.
with that. Yeah.
Where is that show?
Is it a Caveat?
That sounds right.
I'm on another show that night. Which maybe is at Caveat. Let's find out.
It is at... It's at...
Caveat.
Yeah, Caveat.
21A Clinton Street. Do you have any things you plug this week?
I will be on Thursday, January 4th. I'll be at Stand Up New York at 8 o'clock. On Friday, January 5th, I'll be at the Bell House for 51st Jokes, which is a really fun show. It's where like 50 comedians tell the first joke that they've written of the year. So it's basically like a decent open mic. And then Monday, January 8th, I'll be at QED at 8:30. And then, yeah, January 13th at Caveat at 10 o'clock.
Cool. I'll be at 2A on Thursday, January 4th at 8:30. Cool, dude. Well,
I have some highlighting women.
Some ladies from the current moment.
From the current moment. Well, like, obviously, Erica Garner.
Yeah.
Who was the daughter of Eric Garner. She just died this week, which is like very sad. She was 27. But she was like a huge activist and really like kicked off the Black Lives Matter movement. And like, I think it's so amazing to like her father was killed by the police and she made it like, rather than being afraid, like made it a mission to like fight the police. Not like fight the police, but you know what I mean, like stand fight for justice for what's right. Yeah. So Erica really Garner. Also on a lighter note, I love Twitter, but it's like really brutal sometimes. But this woman live tweeted showing her parents Get Out, and it's so funny and I love it so much.
A white woman?
No, she's an Indian woman.
Oh.
But it's just like, it's so funny I loved it so much. They were like, if you ever date a white boy, you make sure like you bring him over here so we can meet him first before you go to meet his parents.
My mom did not like Get Out.
Why?
I asked her why. She doesn't like anything disturbing. So it was just too scary for her. She doesn't like she works a job where she has to deal with like horrible, I mean, she's a family court judge. So she just deals with like horrible, sad, disturbing things all day, every day. And she has her whole career, like even before she was a judge, she was an attorney for like people in really shitty situations. And so I think she just was like, I don't like to feel that disturbed.
She just doesn't like scary movies.
She doesn't like scary movies. Yeah, but I don't like scary movies, and I did like Get Out.
Did you have to take notes for it though?
Yeah, I had to like I literally like had to read the Wikipedia page before I went. Yeah. The whole plot. I took notes during it. It was like way too scary for me, but I like appreciated it. Yeah, it was really good. She just doesn't like scary movies at all.
But I get that. If you don't like scary movies, then like, you might not this is scary.
Yeah, it is scary for sure.
Not in a like things jumping out of you kind of way. It's like a thriller. Deeper, which is almost
it's worse. Yeah,
it's like how The Exorcist. Part of why that movie is so scary is because me neither. But part of why it's so scary and why it still stands up, even though a lot of the stuff is real cheesy, is that there are these like subconscious things that they do, and like these subliminal things where they have like the sound of bees swarming. Ew. Which like on a biological level, your brain
freaks you out.
Triggers like fear response. Or like a lion roaring. Anyway, this woman's Twitter handle is Krutika, Krutika. So you should follow her.
That's funny.
And then last one is M. Cohen, because she has the best Instagram, and she got put on a list for like, you know, best Instagram accounts of like people who. Her. Oh my God, her Instagram is amazing.
Now. Really? What is it?
It's like photos of New York, but she's from New York, and she's just like good at it. She has such a good eye, and like. She has a sense of humor, and it's great. So follow M. Cohen.
M. Cohen.
EMCOHEN. And those are the ladies who I want to shout out.
Wow. That's amazing.
I feel like that coffee just kicked in the last like 15 minutes. I
drank a Coke and it does not kick in at all. I can't find her. I'll have you find her for me.
Okay. I think she might be at Empathy.
Oh, yeah.
Is that right? I should know what she is if I'm gonna say like everybody go follow her, right?
I don't know. We'll find her.
Yeah. Okay.
All right. Well, this is great. Have a great new year and keep making history.